Hello. Today I decided to do something just a little different, I guess, and I got this book, and it's full of funny stories, not all of which I'm sure are real true, but they're at least funny, and they came from some source. I'm sure that some of the stories have been kind of blown up and out of proportion ever since, but it's a fun read anyway, so I wanted to share a few things with you guys. So there's this one thing called Arson's Law, and pretty much what it says is that compliments from a stranger are much more valued than compliments from your significant other. Well, on the other hand, an insult of some sort from a stranger isn't taken as seriously as an insult from your significant other, and that people postulate that perhaps because of that, we're drawn into affairs. Thought that was kind of interesting. This one was kind of a funny story. Empress Wu of China demanded that all her mandarins and visiting dignitaries pay her homage by, quote, licking of the lotus stamen. She would have to raise her imperial gown in order that the visitors might gain access to her. Thus she began the practice of official cunnilingus. The practice has not been continued into modern day. Gonna get out of my show. And then there's a story about President Coolidge that I thought was pretty funny. President Coolidge and the First Lady once paid an official visit to a farm in Kentucky. When Mrs. Coolidge was passing the chicken pen, she inquired how often a rooster was expected to perform his duty. Dozens of times a day was the reply. She was rather impressed by this and asked, "Please tell that to the president." On being told of this remarkable vitality, the president wisely requested to know if it was the same hen each time. "Oh no, Mr. President, a different one each time," was his guide's reply. "Well, will you please tell that to Mrs. Coolidge," was his triumphant response. And then there's a list in here of things that have been found inside the rectum, lodged inside the rectum. It's an enormous list, but some of these are pretty funny. A live shell, 150-watt light bulb. Oh, you know how bad that would be if it broke? A frozen pig's tail, an axe handle, a torch, a screwdriver, a bottle of Mrs. Butterworth's syrup, a beer glass, and a mortar pestle 30 centimeters long. Pretty really long. And they also found different foods such as an onion, salami, a frozen fish, 5 tangerines, ow, a turnip, a hard-boiled egg, an 11-inch carrot, stuck up the rectum, 2 bananas, a cucumber, a parsnip. Man, people get a little creative, huh? This was interesting. About stuff caught up in the vagina. They found things including a goldfish, bottles, turnips, toothbrushes, toothpicks, and compasses. The two that really interested me there were a goldfish. The poor goldfish. Ew. And a compass. Not real sure what the purpose of that was. A broom handle had to be removed once. The remarkable thing being that it had been in stew for 3 months without being noticed. It was only upon investigation of a vaginal discharge that the problem was identified. That's pretty disgusting. How can you stick a broomstick up inside you and then forget? My dad tells me stories all the time, since he's an ER doctor, of women who come in without or having problems, and he discovers that they just forgot a tampon in for like a month. I don't know how you can forget that.